My name is Christopher Stone. I am animation director on Call of Duty World War II. You know, working on a World War II title versus a future title or a present day title has been really exciting, really educational, and really been something that I've always wanted to do my entire career. You know, working on something that is really based on actual events allows you to tell stories that, you know, are always crazier than fiction, honestly. And World War II is just wrought with those stories, and being able to kind of bring that information to a new generation, for them to understand the plight of these soldiers in this crazy war, you know, it's great to be able to be that person to bring that to this generation. So we've brought a lot of new advancements to motion capture technology for this project, more specifically performance capture technology. The difference being that performance capture is going to be getting the body with the face and the audio all in sync. Now in the past we used a single head-mounted camera to capture performance with all of our actors, and you know, that gave us a really great idea of like what was going on the face. You know, we'd have the camera here, we'd see the expressions, then those expressions would get targeted back to our physically built models. But now for this project, we've added a second stereoscopic camera that now sits to the sides. So now not only are we getting this great expression-based capture for the front, but we're also getting all the depth information on the face. So all the swelling of the cheeks and the puckering of the lips, and you know, it really helps us recreate those expressions to be 100% accurate to the talent that's in the shot. I mean, the campaign is telling the story, right? You know, and I think that's the part like that makes me really excited. You know, you could drop someone into a map in Hurtgen without telling them what it is, and they'd just be running around with exploding trees and not know anything about what this actually was, you know, when it happened. But for us to actually tell the story of these soldiers and how they fought through these battles and the loss and the events that they were bearing witness to, you know, that's the big part of this story that's really going to immerse you in World War II, right? It's going to make you understand like what we were fighting for, why we were there, and what the series of events really was. Yeah, I mean, luckily nowadays, video games, the technology for us to bring performance is at the point where it's more than just playing a game. You know, you're part of an interactive experience now. It's almost like you're playing within a film. You know, and it's been a while since anything has really told the story of World War II. And it's hard for me to believe that, you know, Saving Private Ryan was 20 years ago, and that was really the last thing to really tell the story. So with the technology where it is today, you know, we're basically just bringing that story to a new media. And it's a new generation of people who were too young to see that film then. And so now they are experiencing World War II in an interactive environment. And that's great for us to be able to hit that avenue that really hasn't been hit before with this sort of authenticity that we're bringing to it. The characters themselves in our game are fictional. However, they're all based on characters whom we've researched. You know, it was hard to find a single man that traveled through all the events that we wanted to, but we found a unit in the Bloody First that did. So, you know, we're following this Bloody First through, you know, Normandy and Hurtgen, Cobra and Bulge, and all these really big sort of moments within the war. And so to be able to do that, we wanted to have our group of soldiers have their unique personalities to be able to tell a story in different ways. So while they're not based on a specific person, they are based on people and events whom we've researched over time. So for Call of Duty World War II, we had to recapture every AI animation in the entire game. The fact of the matter is guys did not hold weapons then like they do now. And there's a multitude of reasons for that. You know, a big one was that there was no body armor. You know, so when guys held weapons, they would try to hold them sideways as much as they could to make a really thin profile because they didn't want to get hit. You know, in a modern shooter, advanced warfare or a modern warfare campaign, the animation sets are going to be very squared on. Guys fire weapons with very square shoulders and very squared stocks because they can take a shot in the chest. The body armor is good enough where they can absorb that if they need to, but that just wasn't the case then. On top of that, there were just different techniques that were taught for firing weapons. World War II is one of the few times that there were actually divisions issued with a pistol as their primary weapon. And the way guys were taught to fire pistols was very different than it is now. They were taught to turn their body and point their finger and use one hand and make themselves a thin target, with the thinking that you could point at someone, and if you can point at someone, you can shoot at someone. It's an interesting methodology, but that's not how we shoot nowadays. So every action in the game was reshot to maintain this sort of period authenticity. And we're talking 10,000 some odd shots of motion capture. Absolutely, I absolutely know more about World War II now. Coming into this project 3 years ago, I had the Saving Private Ryan knowledge of World War II, which was, a little bit about the beach, a little bit about a battle here or there, but it didn't really understand the depth of this conflict. Understanding how it affected different people in different countries in different ways, and that's been a really great part of this project for me, is just getting that knowledge that is really slowly dying off as these veterans are passing away. I had a little bit of knowledge. My grandfather was a commercial artist and did propaganda art in the 40s, so I have a lot of that propaganda art, but I never really understood the messages until I started doing a lot of the research for this project.